All right. So we went from Javante Tane Davis to Jake Paul. Now, I don't know about y'all, all right? But Jake Paul, this is going to be the most ironic topic that we have ever talked about. So fasten your seatbelts, all right? According to Mike Coppinger, ESPN, shout out to Mike Coppinger, Eddie Hearn is having a defamation lawsuit against Jake Paul because Jake Paul has claimed that Eddie Hearn has paid off judges. Yes, you heard that right. Only in boxing can you make something like, only in boxing can that be a topic. Only in boxing. But let me get into it on a little bit of detail. So the hearing is going to be on October 16th, and they are going to move forward. Originally, the judges refused to decline the case. They wanted to take it. So basically what happened was the whole story is that Eddie Hearn allegedly paid off some judge during the Amanda Serrano Katie Taylor fight to fix the scores. Obviously, we know that was a very close fight. Some people believe that Amanda Serrano got robbed, and other people believe that Katie Taylor earned that victory. That's a whole different topic for a whole different day. We might touch up on that a little bit when we give the predictions for Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano too. So be on the lookout for that. Jake Paul says, and I quote, it's an accusation that he does not take lightly. So he said, you think they would try to get a different judge to try and hide the corruption they are bringing to this sport, but it's just so blatantly obvious. Now, Jake Paul is referring to two fights. One was Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano, and the other one was in August of 2022, the unified heavyweight champion rematch between Anthony Joshua, who is promoted by Matchroom, and Alexander Usyk in Saudi Arabia. Usyk won, obviously, through split decision, and he believes that he paid the Judge Feldman to score the card 115 to 113 in Anthony Joshua's favor. Eddie Hearn denies his claims, and as does Feldman as well. So where are we at here? Okay. Well, look, Jake Paul, first of all, slow your roll, calm down a little bit, okay? Take a deep breath, go do another YouTube video, okay? Maybe go do Bizarre Vark on Disney Channel. I don't care what you do. Take a deep breath. First of all, here's my question. How do you know if a fight is rigged or not? The only way you can know if a fight is rigged or not is if you've done it before. That's the only way I would know. You know what I'm saying? Now, don't get me wrong. If you have something like Oshaki Foster and Robeson Conceição, then yeah, that's clearly a robbed victory, and clearly you could point to it being rigged. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. There's corruption in boxing. Do I think that judges get paid off? Absolutely. But to sit here and accuse Eddie Hearn of paying off judges is absolutely absurd. And honestly, Eddie Hearn has been very fair and very light with you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he doesn't like you, but you guys joke around whenever you guys collide for a promotion. You know what I'm saying? Like you guys, it seems like you guys relatively are friendly. But you know what? It seems like Eddie Hearn had enough of your ass, and he's going to take your ass to court. And honestly, I would have took your ass to court too. Not gonna lie. All right. Overall, here's what I'm gonna say. Am I gonna say that Eddie Hearn rigged fights? No. Is it possible? Sure. Okay. I mean, it wouldn't be the craziest thing to hear that promoters have rigged fights to kind of benefit their fighters. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't be the craziest thing I've heard. I wouldn't be surprised if that news did come out. You know what I'm saying? But overall, I'd like to think that Eddie Hearns is a relatively good enough guy to where he would want his fighters to win the right way. Could I be wrong? Sure. However, if you really look at it, he believes that because Feldman was the judge for the Katie Taylor Amanda Serrano fight, and because he was also the judge for Anthony Joshua Alexander Usyk, that he rigged those fights. I get it. Amanda Serrano is signed to MVP Promotions, so I understand if you felt like she won the fight, and if you're trying to stick up for her, all that's great. But what does Alexander Usyk and Anthony Joshua have to do with you? Just a simple question. What does that have to do with you? Because it doesn't. And honestly, you shouldn't even be making claims like that until you know for a sure fact that you can actually back it up. This is something you have to prove in court, and you're not going to be able to prove it. Okay? Although he can't prove that you are, that this is defamation and everything like that. Look, I can't just go on TV and say, I can't, it's kind of like the Devin Haney situation. As much as you want to believe it, I can't go on TV and say Devin Haney erased losses off of his record back in Mexico. I can't say that because I don't have proof. Could it be true? Sure. Could it also be fake? Sure. We don't know. So overall, stop making claims like these. All right. And especially when these claims are being made towards you every single time you go to fight. All right. I mean, we've heard it many, many times. Jake Paul's fights are rigged. He's not a real boxer. Why even pay our money to see it anyway? So the fact that he is turning the tables and blaming Eddie Hearns for this, honestly, man, it's ironic and it's hilarious. But overall, I'd love to get your opinions.
You got to do something to keep the attention on you because nobody really care about this sorry ass fight you got coming up in November, right? So I guess you got to find something to do, right? So guess what? You pop out and you come out, and now you're trying to accuse Eddie Hearn of rigging fights and paying judges off. Okay, let's get to something right quick. Do y'all remember? Well, I know y'all probably don't because y'all are actual boxing fans and y'all wasn't tuned in for this. But who all remember when KSI fought Logan Paul that second time, right? I'm pretty sure you've seen it, Mario. But the second time they fought, y'all remember the big controversy where Logan Paul hit KSI with an undershot while KSI was going down. Did he hit him 2 times behind the head? He cried about that. What did Jake Paul do after the fight? He said he hated the sport. He even started crying. Keep in mind, y'all, a long time ago, the same man that claims that he hates this sport and this sport is rigged is now the same man that is also in this sport. He's a promoter / a fighter, whatever you want to call him. But what I'm saying is this, right? It seems like to me, Jake is always pointing. Now, look, Jake points the fingers at Dana White. Now, I think we can all fairly say that at some extent we should agree that UFC fighters should get paid more for what they do because of the risk that they put their lives in. Correct. But my problem with Jake Paul is he's always pointing fingers at somebody else and not himself. You worrying about Dana White business. You worrying about Eddie Hearn business. You still have yet to even get into position to even win a damn belt, dude. And whatever happened to that offer that you was gonna have with Eddie Hearn when you was gonna fight one of his guys in his lineup? I ain't seen you go back up to Eddie with that. What happened to that? See, you can try to defame the man's name and whatnot, but you're not really interested in seeing one of his guys. Because keep in mind, Eddie Hearn was like, hey, look, I could give you one of my guys and see if you really like that. I ain't see Jake Paul follow up with that. And like I said earlier, I know, and Jake Paul understands nobody really cares about this sorry stage high school drama act play that he's trying to do in November. Nobody don't give a damn about that. So what else you got to do? You're not making music because your rapping sucks. Disney Channel keeps you to the curve. Period. Straight out the bottom. What else you got to do? Your only way you making your cheddar is being a promoter and doing these half-ass stage-ass high school drama play fights that you do that you call a fight. And another thing too, and I'm glad Mario said it because I was going to say the exact same damn thing. How in the hell would you know what a rigged fight look like? And please tell me, what does Alexander Usyk and Anthony Joshua have to do with you, Mr. Cruiserweight? I'm sorry, Mr. Now Heavyweight fighting cruiserweights. Sorry, what does that got to do with you? See, but see, I told people a long time ago, this is who Jake Paul is. Jake Paul has always been this type of person. There's always fingers over here, fingers over there. He's pointing fingers at Mario, Breezy. He's pointing fingers at y'all. He's pointing fingers at Eddie Hearn, Dana White, but he's never pointing fingers at his damn self. Jake Paul, you got a lot of things you can clean up. First of all, that damn haircut you got, you look like the Chick-fil-A bird. Let's get that out the way. Clean that up right quick. Second of all, you need to clean up who you fighting. Worry about who you fighting. Worry about who you in the ring with, because Mike Tyson ain't it. You is worried about the wrong things. Now, let's say it is true. If it's true, guess what? Eddie Hearn need to be punished. But can you really prove that, though? Cool. You want to support Amanda Serrano? You want to back Amanda Serrano? Look, Amanda Serrano fine as hell, and she got hands. I understand. Okay? But do you have any kind of logical proof to prove that this man was paying judges off? And if not, that means you lose that case, Jake Paul. I hope you know that. You lose that case if you can't prove that that man was doing that. So obviously, you ask me, it's a reach for attention. Look, we're in October. He still has a whole nother month left before that sorry ass fight happened, and nobody's been talking about it. So what other way can he keep his name out there relevant? He's making money from being promoted, but nobody's talking about him. So what do you do to talk about? You sue Eddie Hearn. So it's a reach for clout. I don't think he. I know damn well he ain't got no evidence. As much time he has on his hands, he's not worried about Eddie Hearn, but he has all the business in the world to worry about things that don't concern him. But I don't. I don't see this going anywhere. And you know what, Eddie Hearn, take his money, take his money. How the saying go, F round to find out. Take his money, Eddie Hearn, because this is what happens when you let people like Jake Paul come into the business of boxing. Then they start trying to make their own little wave, and then they start trying to fight these little chicken tender contenders and shit. And then start thinking that they smelling themselves and they wet behind the ear and whatnot. Now they thinking they the ish. So go ahead, Eddie Hearn, take his money. Defamation of character. You go, Eddie Hearn.
Now, first of all, you said his fights are staged. He could sue you for defamation, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he might not take that lightly.
Look, I'm gonna say this right now. The fact that Tyrone Woodley hit him in that first fight and he didn't do anything else, that's fishy enough to me. That's fishy enough to me. But look, nevertheless, look, all I'm saying is this, right? The point that I'm trying to get at is that it takes a cheater to know a cheater. It takes a liar to know a liar. Well, no, not necessarily take a liar to know a liar, but what I'm saying is if you're so confident that you're going to catch this man in doing something, you must know something where we don't know. That's what I'm trying to get at. Basically, kind of like to piggyback off your point, you must have had this something like that. And look, this is not me because defamation of character, but I'm just saying, how do you know? What evidence and proof do you have? What detectives do you have? Huh? You've been working with Sherlock Holmes behind the scenes and whatnot. What evidence and logical? Because I'm telling you right now, he's going to have to prove in court that Eddie Hearn was doing this, and if he can't prove that, you lose.
You're 100% right. As of right now, Eddie Hearn is suing Jake Paul of defamation. Okay? Do I think he should sue him? I think Eddie Hearn got better things to worry about than Jake Paul. Why are we giving this man attention and bringing him to court? I don't know. Do you think I want to hear him say some stupid stuff in court? Absolutely not, because we all know he's going to say some stupid stuff in court. All right? I mean, overall, this is just ridiculous. Now, unless he's got a bunch of whistleblowers and he's got a bunch of, deep divers looking on the internet and finding wires to where they could see Eddie Hearn giving money to Feldman, or else he got video or something like that. You ain't gonna prove that. All right. But however, some people might say because Eddie Hearn is suing Jake Paul, he might have to clear his name. I don't think that's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. Nothing's gonna get figured out, nothing's gonna get found out. Okay. We're gonna get Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor 2. All right. They're gonna have to work together, unfortunately. Why would you want to work with Jake Paul? Don't ask me. All right. I don't even know. Amanda Serrano, you need to get away from MVP promotion. You need to start building yourself. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this ain't it really. But overall, that's what's going to happen. They're going to have to work together in this fight. And after this fight, who knows what happens. But I can tell you this right now. Jake Paul ain't worried about fighting no cruiserweights. He don't want to smoke with Jai Patai. I haven't even heard him say his name yet. And for somebody like Jake Paul who wants to be a world champion, he's going to have to say his name. You know, dang well, he's not going to fight for no heavyweight championship. That's a dang fact. I mean, he's not stepping in there with no Dubois. He ain't stepping in there with no Usyk, so he can cross that off his bucket list. The truth of the matter is this. Jake Paul does not want to be a champion. As much as he tells y'all he wants to be a world champion, he don't want to be no world champion, or we would have been seeing him fight some of these top 10 contenders already. But he didn't do that.
Until Jake Paul can go up to Eddie Hearn and be like, Eddie, I want to take you up on that offer and want to fight one of the guys in your lineup. I don't want to see you, Jake Paul, fanny girls, talking about he's gonna be world champion. Stop getting on the internet saying he's gonna beat Canelo. Canelo will send his liver into another universe. Tank Davis will spin his head around in 365 days. Okay. And let alone if he get in there with Jai Patai and whatnot, he ain't seen the day of light.
Yeah, and we ain't trying to see him versus Conor McGregor. I mean, that's another trash show in itself.
Bro,
Let's not talk about this stuff no more.
oh my god. Let me You was the same guy that came out and was knocking Floyd for doing something like that, and then you call out the exact same guy that he beat in his last official pro bout. How do y'all people support this dude? No, like the amount of idiot, like your brain capacity has to be like at the negatives to even believe the amount of stuff that he says. There is no way y'all believe the stuff that he says.
And don't get me wrong, I okay, I know a girl who's a big Jake Paul fan. Does she know a lot of, now listen, bear with me. Does she know enough about Jake Paul to kind of like analyze everything that's going on? No, she's not a big boxing fan. However, she likes Jake Paul. Don't ask me why. Probably all the social media days. A lot of kids grew up with Jake Paul. In that case, I say this: if you like Jake Paul, cool. Okay. But if you like Jake Paul and you hear the crap that he is saying and you're still trying to justify it, that's when you got to really check yourself into reality because this isn't realistic at all. No matter what he says, no matter what he does, it ain't realistic. Do I respect him for, actually putting work into the gym? Absolutely. Do I respect him for using his hard-earned money to get the best training possible? Absolutely. I mean, let's face it, Breezy, as much as we don't like the guy, he could be spending that money on drugs. Like a lot of all these other celebrities. He could spend that money on a bunch of other stupid stuff that we don't even want to hear about. But
Hey, it's like this, right? Okay. I can have all the money in the world to get the best basketball players to help me get better, but it ain't gonna mean a damn thing if I'm still playing middle schoolers.
and that's exactly where we're getting at here. All right, don't get me wrong. I respect that he's actually training and taking the training seriously and trying to get better and better. That I'm not gonna diss him on. What I am gonna diss him on is the fact that you're gonna do all this training to fight a 60-year-old Mike Tyson, to fight an almost 50-year-old Anderson Silva, to fight a 40-year-old Tyron Woodley, to fight a 40-year-old Nate Diaz, to fight a basketball player in Nate Robinson, to fight an old 40-year-old Ben Askren who can't throw hands to save his life. I mean, to fight Tommy Fury, who's never ever going to win a belt in his life. I mean, if we're going to be real honest here, okay, I liked it more when Jake Paul was fighting Andre August, when he was fighting Ryan Borland, and he wasn't worried about the money because that's what's going to get you world championship matches is starting from real boxers and moving your way up. Now, I know in the comments, people are going to say those fights might be rigged. They might be. But you know what? We're not going to say that because the last thing we need is Jake Paul's lawyers knocking on the doors.
I liked it better when he was on YouTube because he wasn't in the one sport that I care to watch. So that way I get to tune him out. So I really liked it better when he was just doing YouTube with his crackheaded brother.
I mean, Breeze has got it bad. He loves the WWE. He's got to deal with Logan Paul over there. But I mean, look, Logan Paul
Well, here's
killing
the
it.
thing. I take that back. I won't even say crackhead. I'll say this. I'll say this. I don't know how to describe. I have nothing. Well, I dislike Jake. Logan, he iffy. But I don't care for either one of them. What I'm saying is this, right? It was much better when you saw Jake Paul Logan Paul video and you could click those three dots and click not recommended or see less likely. Greatest times ever. I can't do that no more because he in boxing. Logan in WWE. I watch both. So I can't even if I want to move past, you know what? I say this. Anytime there's a Logan Paul segment, bathroom break.
Bathroom break. Eddie, hey, look, I wish we could do that with Jake Paul, but unfortunately, he's trending in boxing, and we actually have to like cover this for some reason. But
Yeah.
overall, I'm gonna say the last point I want to make is this. All right. According to Jake Paul, it's so blatantly obvious. Well, guess what? You possibly rigging fights is so blatantly obvious too. So the question I have for you is why haven't you sued anybody for defamation? That's my question. Why haven't you sued anybody for defamation? This is getting ridiculous. Jake Paul, focus on your fight with Mike Tyson. Okay? Focus on that. All right. Get in the training, get in the lab. All right. Focus on your fight with Mike Tyson. I don't care what any of y'all saying. I don't care what the logical explanation is. Spoiler alert: when you tune into the prediction, I'm picking Mike Tyson to win regardless. I'm not. I'm sorry. I'll take a if Mike Tyson gets beat, I'll take that loss and I can sleep good at night. Actually, I won't sleep good at night because Jake Paul knocked out Mike freaking Tyson. But only in America, only in boxing could this stuff be made. Honestly, Jake Paul, focus on your fight with Mike Tyson. All right. Stop going Eddie Hearn. Focus on Matchroom Boxing. Stop entertaining this clown. Okay. Because the last thing that's going to happen is y'all are going to go to court. This is going to end up being nothing but a clown show. And y'all are going to end up doing business in the future together. Mark my words. But overall, Jake Paul, you ain't got no proof that he cheated. If you do, then you better start presenting it to, some US attorneys and, the judge as well. Eddie Hearn, I hope what he's saying ain't true. Because just like Breezy said, if this is true, Eddie Hearn, you need to be punished. And if this is true, if this is proven true, Breezy, then I mean we are going to light up Matchroom Boxing. Okay, because I mean, if this is true, if he's been paying judges for his fighters to win, that is some sad ass ish. So you know what? Hey, if this comes out and this is proven true and he's guilty, oh, we're y'all gonna hear about it. Trust me, there's gonna be a topic on it. But overall, we don't have nothing yet. I'm not gonna sit here and call Eddie Hearn a cheater when there's no proof. Okay, Jake Paul, I really didn't want to cover this topic. I wanted to cover a CP knockout versus Oscar Collazo, but you know what? This is what's gonna get us the most views, unfortunately, and this is something that we should cover. So you know what? Do as you will with that. But with that being said, Breezy, close us out.
Unlike Jake Paul and his inconsistencies, the Puncher's Point tends to stay consistent. Make sure y'all tune into the Puncher's Point. We basically up and active every week, Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, and Sundays, and Sundays, and Sundays. Y'all gotta watch out for them Sundays if you're lucky to catch us. Make sure y'all stay tuned in with the podcast app. Please tend to watch the podcast app. Say it doesn't hurt to listen to the podcast app. Unlike YouTube, the podcast app ain't gonna slap you with an ad. Can I get an amen? Amen. But without further ado, y'all know what the deal is. The Puncher's Point. Stay tuned in with the X and the Instagram. Y'all know what it is. The Puncher's Point. Make sure y'all stay on point with the Puncher's Point.